because this airs on Saturday. And he does that too.
I am here with Corey and Brazil, who are here to dish the dirt. Without RJ, then now on Extra Whip on Big Brother Cheesecake 7, Chocolate Heaven. Hello, I'm Andrew Shevsik Moonves. Welcome to Big Brother Cheesecake 7 Chocolate Heaven. It's day 18 inside the Big Brother Cheesecake house. And this week, Jenna is the head of household. She nominated Cly for eviction, and Michael is the second initial nominee for losing the Temptation comp for the third of 3 weeks. And Willy Wonka nominated Tom as the third nominee, which means one of those three could be evicted. But of course, the Golden Power veto could still change the nominations. Who will win it in one of the most exciting veto competitions I've ever created? You'll find out tomorrow. But first, I'm here with Brazil and Corey, who is filling in for Nicole, who is off getting her fields plowed by Evan, I'm assuming. I don't know. Oh, wait, she's already pregnant. No, that doesn't work, right? Yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah, I guess
you could still have sex. Yeah, you could. That's what Rachel and Ross did so that, I'm getting that baby out of you. Oh, Friends fans. Okay, fine. I should have made an Office reference. Remember when Pam was trying to not go into labor so that she could get to the hospital later and get an extra day? And Michael goes, let's read everything in the book and then do the opposite of that. So it's like, okay, eat spicy foods. What's the opposite of that? And Kevin goes, stick spicy food up her butt.
I was gonna say there's quite a I don't know if anyone watches Outlander. There was quite a scene dealing with that kind of stuff in Outlander last season.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, I don't watch the medieval look at us in kilts type shows.
Yeah.
But
I'm really surprised you don't watch that.
Me?
With the one guy's pretty good looking.
Okay,
send me a photo. I might be able to convert. Yeah. So RJ was the second house guest evicted. He was invited, like everybody is, to come on Extra Whip to dish the dirt, to talk about what went wrong, to potentially throw people under the bus. And just like Shawnee, he was pretty quiet, then said he couldn't come because he had to work. I tried to work around his schedule. Nothing. And then he just left the jury and friends chat altogether. So bye, RJ.
Are you combining them again this season?
Yes, I liked it last season. I like combining the pre-jury and the jury. It's just more fun for everybody. It will only be the jurors invited to the cunt calling session at the end. That's what I call it. It's where Kat. Oh, and Kat was invited to be here, but she was too busy walking around downtown Calgary with Rhonda calling everyone a cunt. Because she moved. I don't know if you know Brazil, but she moved to Calgary. So she drove her car through like a Save the Seals convention in Yonge Dundas Square. And so it was either go to jail or be forced to leave the province. And so she moved to Calgary.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway. Yeah, so I don't know where the hell I was. Oh yeah. So now that RJ is evicted, everybody remaining in the house has paid their $40 Canadian, $30 US entry fee. RJ hadn't paid. I was kind of getting annoyed. He had so many extensions from May 31st to, initially April, then May 31st, then the first eviction. Then I gave him a 24-hour extension. He asked me for a 24-hour extension. So I'm like, okay, 24 hours, fine. Still nothing. My suspicion is he was waiting to see if he could get a good footing in the house. And then if he thought he could legitimately win the 700, then he would pay. Or he was just a cheapskate. But either way, if Big Brother Cheesecake was like Endure, Ascendance, Ecstasy, or any other good org where I could cut people, there's no way anybody would even enter the house before paying, because it's just rude. And I put in, not only do I supplement the prize a little, as I think you and Nick and Lindsay calculated once. Lindsay said that a group of you calculated in season 4 how much I have to put in. You did the math, apparently. Nick maybe did the math. Maybe you weren't in
Maybe.
their alliance yet at that point. But yeah. So I have to supplement a little. And then there's a shit ton of materials that you've probably already seen in the episode that also cost money. So if I ever get to the point, and maybe after this season, now that we're at 300 plus members, if I ever get to the point where I can pick and choose who gets cast, you're paying or you're going to get bumped for an alternate. Because I think
I feel like you'd have a decent amount of alternates that would step up and help you out in a pinch too.
I could have gone, okay, so Judy missed the cutoff, and I didn't remind Judy because I try to avoid returnees as best I can, besides all-star seasons. I prefer fresh cast. Judy missed the cutoff. Had she paid and submitted her documents, she would have played. But she missed it, and I'm like, you missed it, so be it. And so I wanted RJ because I thought RJ would be more drama. He is drama in other orgs. But I was just, so it's disappointing. And also he missed the opportunity to come here and dish the dirt because everybody last season 6, congrats season 6, Corey, everybody came on Extra Whip, and it became an important tool in the game because starting from Amy really threw Karen under the bus. But the problem is she did it too much and Karen came off as the victim. And then every single person that came after painted Karen as this super villain. And again, Karen was able to use that for sympathy, like I'm being thrown under the bus on thing, and it actually helped her. But it was
in our season, everyone was like, if I'm going out, at least I get to go on Extra Whip. That was like that was like the saving grace. And so it's like season 7, like if you're getting voted out, come on here, like tell us what happened and throw someone under the bus.
And like
you felt someone really did you dirty.
Yeah, and you could use it to your advantage. You don't even have to tell the truth. Like no one will know.
Yeah.
I mean, some people will know, but
I mean, I loved when Megan came on week 1 and she's just like, I think there's an alliance between, she named 4 people and it was completely false. And it actually caused chaos. Yeah, it was good. I do think if the nominations don't change, I think Cly, Tom, or Michael, I think any of the 3 would. I can't see them saying no. I think hopefully we're through the people saying no. But yeah, so that means Team Crazil, Curtis's first 2 picks were RJ and Shawnee. So
like in that order, or like they were actually the first 2?
RJ first, then Shawnee. So you're down to just Rayanne, who now is safe for 3 weeks. Bridget, Cly, who's on the block, Michael, who's on the block, Ronnie, and Javier. So Nicole has Jenna, it was the HOH, Owen, Stephanie, Brooke, Kilby, Callum, Kennedy, Tom. And Nicole right now is definitely the stronger team. Even if you take the 2 people and think advantage away, I think Nicole's players are more in a better spot.
That doesn't necessarily matter though. I mean, look what happened to Nicole last season. How long was she riding with just me left? Like all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Almost.
One thing I forgot to say because I got sidetracked just regarding the money. There actually were 2 people this season who could not pay and who were honest and came to me before the season and said, I'm really having a financial troubles because of A, B, and C. And so I said, you know what? You were honest. You came to me. You can play. And whenever you can, you pay me back. And that's fine. There's usually 1 or 2 people each season who do that. But when you have people like Dylan from All Stars in season 2, and now RJ, who say they're going to pay and constantly say, give me 24-hour extension, like that's the part that bugs me. Like they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes. But anyway, I'm going to move on from that. Before I forget, just a shout out to Cly. I think one of her good friends, Carmen, had a baby. And so here's the picture of Carmen's baby. I think she named it Diego, which is very ironic. But anyway, do you get it?
I got it.
Okay. So is there anything you'd like to talk about, or should we just go through each house guest one by one and tell them why they suck? No, I'm just kidding.
I was a little disappointed RJ isn't here because I wanted to get his thoughts, being that he was the Wonka vote, like a nominee both twice. So I was curious if he had any ideas of who Wonka was.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
I obviously won't get into specifics, and I accidentally slipped up before we went on and recorded. I accidentally slipped and I told Corey and Brazil who the first Willy Wonka was, but they will not tell anybody. So the first Willy Wonka told at least one person now, and the second Willy Wonka has told a couple people, and the third Willy Wonka has told a couple people. And there are some people in the house who know who all three were. And like, again, if I'm an early Willy Wonka, I ain't saying shit to anybody. Like,
that just seems like putting a target on your back for later.
yeah, because later on you can't get it.
Yeah. And someone you nominated may get it, and it's like, if they know it was you, then return the favor, right?
Yeah.
I think when RJ was evicted, it gave the first Willy Wonka sort of the freedom to say, well, RJ's gone now, so I may as well just tell people I was the first Willy Wonka. Maybe. Same with the second
do you
one.
think he was evicted because he was inactive or because people thought he was a threat? Which I wish we could have asked him that, but he's not here. So
I think the RJ Ronnie thing went back. I didn't mention it a lot in the episodes because there was so much food stuff going on this week and hot guys like twirling around that and Owen's arms that I kind of glazed over. But RJ and Ronnie had a lot of back and forth in the main chat. And I think a lot of house guests thought it was fake. Like, I even sent you a screenshot, Brazil. It was either you or Nicole that said, "Is this real?"
I said it's fake. Yeah.
So I think people assumed that they were probably ride or dies, and I think they wanted to just nip that in the bud. Plus, he was inactive. Plus, he didn't show up for the veto, which, mind you, he didn't pay, so he wouldn't have been eligible to win. But he still didn't show up for it. Didn't show up for the HOH. So I think it's a combination of that. And also Michael is on the block this week. So that's, why take him out last week. And who was the other person? Rayanne. Well, now Rayanne is safe for 3 weeks. So I have a little bit more freedom to say what I want. Rayanne is just a good social player. And it was week 2. Guess who came off the block week 2 in your season, Corey? It was you. You put the work in to stay week 2. So Rayanne she put the work in. And she's good. She has a good social game.
I don't know if I necessarily needed to because of what I've had heard after the season, but yeah, we fought like hell to keep me safe that second week.
What did you find out after the season?
It just sounded like most people had decided they wanted Zach gone, but I was hearing conflicting things at the time.
That's not how that I was hearing.
Yeah, and that's same here, but then
I was hearing that Zach, just like Shawnee and RJ, kind of went silent right after the veto ceremony, and that's when it started to go against Zach. But anyway, so the Lindor sampler. So somebody did mention to me that I keep spinning from the same spot, and therefore that's why it keeps landing in the OG section and not in the added section.
Okay.
I think it's physically impossible for me 3 weeks in a row or with 4 spins to spin the exact same, like,
Can you try it right now?
Yeah. There. That would have been one of Owen's extras. So, yeah, I rest my case. And I'm not saying it was Owen or anybody. Well, it was somebody in the house, but because there's always that one person's like, it's not a real random if it's a wheel because you can manipulate it with your hands. Oh, God. But I hate those. I don't like in orgs when people use the random.org wheel and you have to watch it go around and then the internet cuts. So then it's like a choppy wheel.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Okay, so let's talk about, should we go through each house guest? Or is there something else you want to talk about?
Could do it that way. Oh,
Jenna
I want to
HOH.
say I really liked that HOH comp.
Yeah, I did too.
I just like the fact that people were leaving as they were eliminated, so it actually became like
smaller.
It was like virus but condensed more.
Yes. And did you get a lot of the questions right?
No,
I only knew when it was a song. I had no idea when it was a movie or a show, but at that point it's 50-50. So I
was really surprised there was no Simpsons or Forrest Gump in there.
I was waiting for the Forrest Gump there.
I mean, I feel like Simpsons is just Homer singing chocolate.
Well, there was the Germans take over the power plant and they're like, we come from the land of chocolate. It's like,
I don't know. So Jenna's HOH, as you know, she put up Cly. Arguably a safe move, arguably a weak move. Which would you argue? Because Cly is probably the least active person right now.
At this
And
point
is
in the
that
game, I
because
would
of
call
their
it
safety?
safe.
Corey, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, Corey.
Oh, I was just gonna say, was that because of their pass forward though?
Cly's fast forward?
Yeah, didn't Cly have fast forward?
Yeah, so she
Or
had
am
2
I
weeks of
getting this
safety,
up?
and arguably she flew too much under the radar because
Yeah, and
people were
that's what
noticing
I'm
that.
wondering.
Yeah, could be. She was very busy the first week. I can't really defend her too much the second week, but I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, we'll see in a few weeks if it comes back to. It's tough when you're HOH weeks 2, 3. Like the early weeks are tough. And I don't think Brazil, you were ever an early HOH in either season. Yeah.
I didn't need.
So-
I didn't need to be.
Corey was not an early HOH in his season. And really, there is the curse that the first 3 HOHs have never won. So that puts Owen in a cursed position and Tom in a cursed position. I feel like Owen came out of his HOH pretty good.
Yeah.
Minimal blood.
Yeah.
Tom was messy with the chocolate apples.
Which I still don't understand how he.
Yeah, and I think
it was random.
That's what I think too.
Think? Okay. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Or just he doesn't have a lot in common with Kennedy. Which, by the way, I really liked how she played the veto.
Yes.
Yes, so you both mentioned that to me. Yeah. I at the time I thought she was nuts because I'm like, you're just taking the ability not to vote and you're not getting the veto out of it. And Owen has to trust that Ronnie will use it on Kennedy. When Ronnie won the veto, I thought he's either not going to use it or he's going to use it on RJ. That's what I suspected. A lot of people thought he was going to use it on RJ. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the invisible people. How about that? So, because I tend to mention Michael a lot because he's always on the block, and I mentioned Tom and his, he went to the zoo and this, that, and the other. Let's talk about some people who I don't talk about. Bridget is one of them.
Yeah, you haven't mentioned. I don't think you've mentioned Bridget once yet.
I've only seen her in the comps, well, 1 or 2, I think, but I don't know. It's hard to say. You've said nothing about them, so we know as much as you say.
I mean, she hasn't won anything yet. She hasn't been nominated yet. She hasn't won the veto yet. I think she's, without trying to try not to, I don't want to paint a target on her back, but I think she's ingratiated herself well with everybody in the house in general. And I don't think she's in a fantastic position, but I definitely don't think she's anywhere near the bottom. So, and that's where you want to be early on, is somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I think we'd know more too if Michael wasn't a nom every week, because we would have 3 actual noms versus, I mean, Michael may have been 1 or 2, but I think Michael having that disadvantage kind of.
So Michael losing the temptation comp week 1 helped the first 3 HOHs in that they only have to get blood on their hands with 1 person initially.
Yeah.
It helped Michael get through the first 2 weeks because everybody's been saying, well, we can get him out week 3, right? Not realizing that he still could win HOH, well, that's gone, but HOH or veto or something on the Lindor sampler. But now, if he loses the veto, do you think he's in a really crappy spot? Because now he can't use that excuse. Or do you think he's done enough socializing because of this disadvantage that he can?
See, I don't see him as a threat yet from what I've seen. At least from his videos and that, he seems like a pretty nice guy. So I'm assuming he's someone at least somewhat sociable in the chat and stuff like that. So
I would hope that he used this time to socialize and strategize and figure out potential moves after he's no longer a guaranteed nom. So I guess we'll see. It also depends on who wins the veto this week. It's hard to say.
Well, it's interesting because if Michael wins the veto, Jenna will draw a card. 2 out of 3 chance she noms the replacement. 1 out of 3 chance Willy Wonka does. But if it's Jenna, then 2 of the nominations will be hers. And I don't know.
And Willy Wonka nom Tom, right?
Yeah. I mean, not really a surprise, but at the same
No.
time, again, you wonder, like, it's a safe. I feel like Cly and Tom are both safe moves, which is fine. But at what point is the game going to crack open? Because last week I thought it was cracking in half when a lot of people didn't want Ronnie to use it, and a lot of people did want Ronnie to use it, and then Ronnie did use it. So I was kind of expecting.
Did people not want Ronnie to use it because they wanted Kennedy out, or because they didn't want like a random?
They didn't. Were worried about what Tom would do.
Got it.
So
I thought the house would have been divided after that, because that's kind of like the gist I was getting from it.
And I went into that head of household, which all the head of households are planned prior to the start of the season. But because it was Eliminator, I thought, ooh, this is going to be good. And then people are eliminating, people saying, I'm sorry. And they're like, oh, it's okay. And really only one person afterwards told me they were pissed in DR. Everybody else just didn't seem to care. Like, okay. But,
yeah, some of that wouldn't have been the strategy I would have used personally. But, I mean, I like to think our season would have been a little bit more, we would have been at each other's throat a little bit more. But I remember our season started off pretty slow. Everyone was kind of kumbaya. So
yeah, your season definitely started slow in terms of drama. Like there was none until.
And Andrew, I feel like.
It's probably about week 3. And then
week 3, yeah, when Jonah and Amy kind of got into it, probably would have been
yeah.
So yeah, this cast has been, they're playing, but they're definitely very lovey-dovey so far.
Well, and the other thing I wonder is, was a lot of that just people not trying to show their cards?
Yeah,
you have quite a few org players in this cast, don't you?
And that's where I was going. So Big Brother Cheesecake has sort of evolved into where I'm casting more people who are, well, I'm casting wherever the hell I can find, but I'm casting more people who have played games before and who are big fans of the show. And so they know not to come out of the gate and say, fuck you to everybody. I'm not vaccinated, suck it. Whereas when it was Brampton Transit drivers, and for the most part, seasons 1 through 4, 3.5, that there was like right off the bat drama, like week 1. So
you had quite a few first timers last season. I think you had a kind of a healthy mix last season.
Last season was probably, it was a very well-rounded cast in terms of finding people from all walks of life and from all Big Brother backgrounds, because there were a lot of people who were casual fans, which I find those are the best people, because then the super fans take it super seriously. But there's a lot of super fans here that are I would say really playing hard, which is good, but yeah,
you can tell this season's a lot of strategy for sure.
Somebody else who's invisible, Javier, he almost won the first HOH and then kind of did the Homer Simpson fade into the background where you then didn't hear from him again.
The one thing I'll say about Javier, whatever that cookie he was eating looked absolutely delicious.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
I'm pretty sure I can find them first you can get them on Amazon, but if not, I can find them for you in Toronto and I can bring them when I come to Calgary. But you can probably get them on Amazon.
It looked really good. Like out of all the cookies I've seen, but also I haven't seen a cookie like that before. So
do you find it funny that all these people are adding wedges to the wheel and then it's just landing on people's OG wedges that were initially on the wheel?
Wait.
Not luck.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't
the people that had 4 wedges were all not livid, but they were all like, damn it. Because they had 1 in 6 chance and they still couldn't get it. It was Jenna, Owen, Michael who needed like something badly. This would have been the time for Michael to get that. For instance, the triple fast forward, it would have been perfect. And Brooke, they still have 3 wedges on the wheel, but now the triple fast forward is gone. So now the prizes that are left, I'm not going to say anything, but they're obviously not 3 weeks of safety. that's the best one. So now Will Rayanne, people who get long terms of safety, one of two things happen. They either use it to their advantage, or as we saw with Netta, with Rai in season 4, with a whole bunch with looks like Cly to a degree, will they just let it completely screw them because they're safe for so long? So people say, I'll get them after.
I think it depends on how they play it.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Can they still compete? I can't remember your
Yes.
fast forward rules. So I would say use it to your advantage. Try and, shore up some relationships. And if you can win something while you're on a fast forward, I think there's some good power to be made there.
Do you recommend that? Because Netta had a head of household while she had that long stretch of safety.
Well,
I feel
Netta
like that's
also
when you
played like garbage that season. So
I feel like, but you can gain a lot of trust with people that you're building those relationships with to help you once your fast forward's over. So
okay, so gun to your head, Rayanne comes to you and says, I don't know what to do. I have this 3 weeks of fast forward. Should I fight for head of household? Yes or no?
am I in an alliance with them?
No, you're a viewer. You're her
Just a
friend.
viewer?
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Okay.
But then again, I was never HOH until the very end, so I never had to deal with it.
yeah, that's true. I guess it depends on when your fast forward is. Right now it's kind of But if she already has someone in mind, or her alliance, if she has an alliance, has someone in mind, then why not help your alliance?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, because it's like you've got to fast forward, and if you're in an alliance and you're throwing comps, your alliance might start thinking you're dead weight, right? Like, we're doing work here and someone's not doing their share.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a yes or a no result?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say
think so.
no. I never throw comps, but if I know I have a power and I have guaranteed safety, that's the one time that I would throw. I wouldn't.
But like I said, I don't know if she in alliances, like, I don't know, there's a lot of other factors in play, but I would still try.
And I have a feeling Karen and Steven and most people would agree with you, the two of you, that they would play for HOH. But
there's arguments for either. Like you said, it's still early, but also because it's still early, if you got HOH, you could use it to, make some relationships and, just do the easy nominations, while it's still early in the game. So.
Okay. That's about all I have. Is there anything either of you would like to say?
I'm enjoying the season.
Mm-hmm.
And
him too.
Yeah, shout out to Kennedy. I thought that was an incredible move.
Despite the jury and friends chat being completely dead, yes, this is a very, very good start to the season, for sure.
Well, it's been enjoyable, right?
And I was a little bit worried because when you have to scrap your way to 16 people and when you're begging people to play, then you run the risk of it not being a good season. And seasons 5 and 6 and even 4, 5, and 6 were all so great that I was like, ooh, is there a dip coming? Like there's always that one season after, it's never going to be consistently good, but so far it's consistently good.
Were you getting pretty close to asking alum?
Sorry? What?
I was gonna say, you can tell it's gonna open up soon.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, but you can tell a lot of people are playing it smart, and
yeah. So I normally ask evicted house guests this, but now we've had 2 weeks in a row where the evicted house guest hasn't joined us. So Brazil knows what's coming. Who do you think is going to win the game, and who do you want to see win the game?
You're asking Corey, right?
No, he was asking you first.
Oh, both of you.
No.
Yeah. I can go first if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Who do I think will win the game? I think who we got? The name is slipping me. First HOH there.
Owen.
Okay.
I
think Owen's in a pretty good position right now, and to be able to, get away with not being on the block the second week after being the first HOH is pretty good. So who would I like to see? I mean, I think Tom winning would be hilarious, but I don't know, Kennedy. I think Kennedy made a fan of me as soon as that happened. It's just, I love to see someone that's willing to just, she knew she was on the block and she went for it. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I also would say Kennedy, or Jenna or Steph. I want to see a girl win. I'm a little biased, but who do I think will win? I think any of those three are capable of winning, even Bridget. Potentially Owen, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so you just named a whole bunch of people. Okay, so with that said, who will win the Golden Power Veto in a brand new, exciting competition hosted by somebody new, or partially hosted by somebody new, I should say. Find out tomorrow. And Monday, will they use it to save Clyde, Tom, or Michael from the chopping block? Find out in the Golden Power Veto ceremony. And Tuesday, the final three nominees plead their case, and Wednesday is the next live eviction and head of household competition where another house guest will be evicted from the Big Brother Cheesecake 7 house, get a tummy ache from eating too much chocolate, and lose their shot at the $700 cash prize. I'm Andrew Chef Best. Take care, and remember, cookie dough makes the difference between Kit Kat Chunky going in your mouth hole versus it going somewhere else. Good night.